of the bell. Mind calm, body at ease, breathing quiet, sentiment benevolent. Dharma friends, sitting still in vital silence, wanting nothing. We practice eco-Buddhism together. The sound of the temple bell booms for all to cease from conflict. May the way of Buddha usher in the dawn of non-violent global village forever. Here is the after sound of the bell. Thunder of silence, light after Dharma rain. Om Amoga Vairochana Mahamudra Mani Padma Jivala Ragataya
Please stand and turn toward the altar for a recitation of the three records. Before Jaco leads us in the three refuges, I will read these verses of respect, gratitude, and appreciation. On this third day of November, this year 2024, we acknowledge that this land where our temple building stands has been the home of Native peoples, the Potawatomi, the Ottawa, the Ojibwe, the Council of Three Fire Tribes, and also of Black Americans, who actually lived in our original historic tent building. We know that this neighborhood used to be historically a Black neighborhood during times of racial segregation and oppression. For our own awakening and for the awakening of all life, may the benevolent energies of our meditation, chanting, and full presence here at this service this morning extend to all beings on this planet and throughout time and space. May there be deepening of our interbeing. May peace prevail and wars cease. In response, let us do 3 vows.
We will now take refuge in the jewels of Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha, first in Sino-Korean, in keeping with our tradition, and then a second time in English. So even if you do not know the words of the chant, try to throw your voice in with the sound so you can have some experience. for refuge to the Buddha.
I go for refuge to the Buddha.
And resolve with all beings.
And resolve with all beings.
I will cultivate a heart of enlightenment.
I will cultivate a heart of enlightenment.
And realize the great way.
And realize the great way.
I go for refuge to the Dharma.
I go for refuge to the Dharma.
And resolve with all beings.
And resolve with all beings.
I will penetrate the teachings.
I will penetrate the teachings.
And uncover oceans of wisdom.
And uncover oceans of wisdom.
I go for refuge to the Sangha.
I go for refuge to the Sangha.
And resolve with all beings.
And resolve with all beings.
I will seek peace and happiness for the many.
I will seek peace and happiness for the many.
And transform this world into Buddha lands unimpeded.
And transform this world into Buddha lands unimpeded.
Please return to your mats and cushions and chairs for another short period of time. follow along with some simple stretching. Fully present, moment by moment. Inhaling as our body opens and stretching up. Exhaling as we pull forward. Again, in the moment, just this, just now, just here. Again, just this, just here, just now. Put those hands behind and exhaling forward. Bringing your arms over your head as much as you can. And back. Twisting to the left. And over to the right. And back. Placing your fists at the bottom of your trunk. And making 3 circles. First one line forward. And then swinging back the other way. 3 times. Again, being with the moment. Please stretch your legs and turn as you Testing? 30,000 people in the neighborhood for a political rally this week. Maybe 3,000 for Halloween trick and treating. We've been digging the whole driveway up for a new water abatement system. That's had big machinery in and out. So it's been quite a week. And also, we made apple pies and tarts last night. We picked the zinnias from the garden. We made leaves in front of the wall. It's always just this, just now, just here. And we're always in a crucible. Each one of us, wherever we are. And it takes courage. Crucibles are places that form and help to grow us and bring beauty and growth. So that's our topic for today. Courage and crucibles. So first, may I offer what in Buddhism we call the 5 remembrances. And I've added them. I think it's okay. So that you can really be present as I read these aloud and almost feel it in your bones. Please put your hands in the kitchen. Or in some way that feels comfortable. The 5 remembrances. I am of the nature to grow old. There is no way to escape growing old. I am of the nature to have ill health. There is no way to escape having ill health. I am of the nature to die. There is no way to escape death. All that is dear to me and everyone I love are of the nature to change. There's no way to escape being separated from them. All conditioned things are to change. There's no way I can prevent that. I inherit the results of my actions in body, speech, and mind. My actions are the ground on which I stand. Few little stories. Saturday morning, 5:30 a.m. One of our farmer friends was loading off produce from his farm for August. We ran into each other. He used to live at the temple for about 6 years, about 30 years ago. He's an old farmer now. And he was kind of sitting on the back of the truck, and he was talking about one of his high school teachers who talked about, gave these talks on that everything changes. Economic systems change. History even changes, and on and on. The only thing, he said, his professor, that didn't change was spirit. Spirit within us. And he said everything in that spirit can grow. One of the, we parted after a few more words. See you the next time. And then I had some writing from one of our Dharma students, and she said, "Where was I caught in the tyranny of activity today? Pretty proud of choices to spend time with Malcolm and Isa rather than rushing to work on that house after dark." And then about Isa. Isa's reading on the beach, has a sweater matching the rock. Navigating living in the same house as his girlfriend and how to work with time together and individual time. Malcolm in Africa with the Peace Corps. Put down in a village to help, hasn't been able to figure out how to help yet. Akshaya is here early this morning. "Can I tell you a story?" And I said, "Well, sure. You tell it, Akshaya." Would you mind, please?
Yeah. So I've been struggling with forgiving
Speak
my.
loud, please.
Should I take the mic? I've been struggling with forgiving my mother. It's something that she's been doing that I've been struggling with. So I emailed my spiritual mother in India, asking her for guidance on how I could sort of deal with this story. So I've been struggling with a situation with my mother, and so I emailed my spiritual mother in India asking her how I could deal with this particular situation. And she responded in an email saying, "Forgive and forget what she is doing and what she has done, because she's a small, ignorant child." And so I was walking to the mailbox a couple of days ago, and right there on the curb, on just lying there, was a book, and the book was titled "Forgive and Forget," which I have with me if anyone wants to see it.
I could not but help think that Akshaya has been in a crucible in that, with the situation. What a coincidence for a book to just land.
And actually, our focus today for us is that we've had a young person who's been in a crucible for about 4 months with us lately. This being a kind of crucible. And she has been in our Dharma Worker program, and she's going to speak to you about it. It is also a crucible for growth, learning how to live in a community, learning how to do regular practice, learning how to eat food that you don't particularly like all the time. You're not used to. Learning how to do work, which is new oftentimes. And being with people, each such beautiful character, but sometimes it's hard to get along with. Yeah. So I'm really happy to introduce her to you. This is Ilby. Could you please come up, Ilby? Yeah, keep standing up to start with. Yeah. Yeah. Standing up, start with, and not putting my clothes on over. I'll show you. So, first of all, I'm going to, well, I'll let you talk, and then we'll do the certificate.
Okay.
And the pin. Yeah.
So am I sitting down now or am I
Yeah,
standing
now
up?
you're sitting down.
Okay. I'm sitting down now.
It's not living in the crucible and taking orders and.
Yes. All right. Good morning, everybody. I'm putting myself down. Firstly, I want to thank my mom for encouraging me to come here when I started having doubts and listing all of the reasons this was bad for me. This was the wrong time. Mom, wait. Mom's in the back wearing a mask like I am. Hi, Mom. And for Moon and Haju for welcoming me into this program. For my Dharma sister, Illy, who has been such a role model for me in this program, and I couldn't imagine being a Dharma worker without having another Dharma worker with me. For those of you I've been lucky enough to know over the past 3 months, you'll know I'm from New York. So I think something people wonder and always ask me, and it's a very common question in Buddhism, is how did you get here? Well, like, how did somebody from New York wind up all the way in Michigan, but also like, how did you arrive here on your path? So 12 years ago this year, my mom and I were in town for a funeral for my cousin Teresa. Her father had passed away, and my mom was reminiscing on how when she was a kid, she would come out here and visit family, and they would go on road trips and all of these fun things. And this decision was reached. Well, why don't we let Katie do the same? So that year, and for the next few years afterwards, I came out here and I spent time with my cousin Teresa and all my other cousins and her kids, who were much closer in age to me than my cousins back home. And one of the things Teresa and her husband Nojak did is this really fun and new thing called Buddhist Peace Camp. And I was like, what on earth is this? And then I went, and I fell in love with it. And I fell in love with my counselor, Osogil, who's here today. Hi, Osogil. And so ever since then, for the past 12 years, I've been coming out here to Michigan for Peace Camp. In the pandemic, we had Peace Camp over Zoom, which was a lot of fun. And then last year, they opened up a precept taking group just for peace campers. So my mom, myself, a handful of other peace campers, all were able to take our precepts together, which was a really special and fun moment. And then I realized, despite doing Buddhism in some form or another for 11 years at the time, I didn't really know enough. I felt like I wanted to learn more. So when I was visiting here in the spring, I heard about this fun thing called the Dharma Worker Program. And I decided I would come back, I would stay for Peace Camp and just stay for a few months and do the Dharma Worker Program. So what is this Dharma Worker Program? Well, it's a bit like a college work study in that you're studying, you're doing practice 3 times a day, you're reading. For me, I read The Heart of the Buddhist Teaching by Thich Nhat Hanh. You're working on memorization. So what we sang earlier, that's called Yable. So we sang that multiple times a day, and that was something I had to memorize. And then there's the actual working part of it. So for me, that was a lot of cleaning, gardening. We get food donated from Whole Foods, produce. So sometimes we just get 10 pounds of bananas and a whole bunch of other things. And then we have to figure out what on earth to do with 10 pounds of bananas, like we're some sort of math question.
10 boxes.
10 boxes? Well, yeah, I'm hoping it's only 10 pounds. But yeah, huge boxes of food. So that is the Dharma Worker Program. One of the things that I have been working with the most in this program, both literally and as part of my practice, is finding the difference between working hard and overworking myself. So something I read in Heart of the Buddhist Teaching by Thich Nhat Hanh, in chapter 14, Right Diligence, the Buddha says, maintain your health, be joyful. Do not force yourself to do things you cannot do. And Thich Nhat Hanh continues on saying, we need to know our physical and psychological limits. We shouldn't force ourselves to do aesthetic practices or lose ourselves in sensual pleasures. Right diligence lies in the middle way between the extremes of austerity and sensual indulgence. There we go. This was a concept I have been working on for a long time, but was hard in many ways because my dad was a jock in high school. So he has a saying, no pain, no gain, no glory. So that's where my work ethic comes from, which is not always the best work ethic. So for me, it's been a lot of finding the difference between overworking myself and working hard and pushing myself to do better and what is just exhausting myself. In the last 3 months, I've learned a lot. That kale for breakfast isn't that bad. That to wake up at 5:30, you need to be in bed at 9. And that doing 108 prostrations before meditating is a great way to wake yourself up on the nights you didn't go to bed by 9. Being an only child to a single mom, living at the temple has been a crash course in living with other people, often putting my practice to the test. Learning right speech when debating whether serving spoons should be in the utensils drawer or in the serving tongs drawer. Learning right action, like that the spoons go on the right side of the chopsticks, and that you should always check how many eggs are in the fridge the night before you have breakfast duty, and that you always need a lot more kale than you will think you need for breakfast. I've also gotten a lot better at facing my anxiety over trying new things, especially in regards to meals, but also just opening myself up to going on adventures to other places in the areas, to saying yes to doing things that might have caused me to hesitate before. I've also deepened my practice a lot, which was the main part of coming here. I finally learned how to sit for meditation without my whole lower half becoming numb. I've studied and read The Heart of the Buddhist Teaching. I've memorized chants that we sing during service, both here in the Sunday service and then in the service that we do 3 times a day for residents. And I've felt that I've become a better version of myself and also better at working with other people, better at living amongst other people, better at working through conflict, saying no when I can't handle things, delegating. And all of these are very important, not just in regards to practice, but which is so important for many of us, but also just being a better person. we don't all live at a monastery. This isn't even a monastery, it's a temple. So for so many of us, we still have to go to work, we have kids, we have spouses, and learning right diligence, right speech, right action, right thoughts are so important in the outside world.
Okay, so one of the things that Ilby was asked to memorize is the 10 great vows of Samantabhadra. And so she is going to endeavor to do that before you at this moment.
I will endeavor. I will honor all Buddhas and never grow tired of it. I will praise all Tathagatas and never grow tired of it. I will make offerings to all Buddhas and never grow tired of it. I will confess all my transgressions of the Dharma and never grow tired of it. I will request Buddhas to teach, I will rejoice in the happiness and virtues of all beings and never grow tired of it. I will request Buddhas to teach the Dharma and never grow tired of it. I will request Buddhas to dwell in this world and never grow tired of it. I will follow the Dharma and never grow tired of it. I will benefit all beings and never grow tired of it. I will dedicate my own merits to the happiness and welfare of all beings and never grow tired of it.
And how about a little chanting of the Deva, the starting?
I'm going to do the short version just like we did earlier. Shishin Punyane Shifang Sam Se Che Mam Chahe Utaya Chum. I have to keep going, or can I stop singing by myself, please? This is why I like group chanting better.
I'll try to speak out loud enough so I don't need to use the microphone. Okay. Dharma Worker Certificate here. Ilby. What does Ilby mean?
Oneness. Il is oneness, and my full name means helping hand.
Ilby Catherine Brower, also known as Katie, has successfully completed the Dharma Worker Program at the Zen Buddhist Temple in Ann Arbor, Michigan, in the spirit of the 10 vows of Samantabhadra and the 6 paramitas. It is my honor and pleasure to offer this certificate of completion to Ilby this November 3rd, 2024. And in our speaking, I've asked her to continue her work with the vows of Samantabhadra. As she goes, that she continues the crucible. And also that she looks for humility in others. She did a lot of humble things while she was here, which I will speak of. She never wanted in her journaling, which she did very meticulously, to say of her own humble things. But one of the things that we asked her to do was do a litter pickup every day around the block. And so she's done a lot of picking up of cigarette butts on the corner by the restaurant where the folks hang out and smoke, and just generally pick up litter. And help in many other kind of ways where she has to get down on her hands and knees to clean and wash. And that's what we're really impressed that she could do it so well and with such good spirit. Also, I would say that Ilby has a lot of wisdom. So after I put this pin on, I would like to invite you to ask her questions about her experience. Because I've noticed in discussions that we have, she always has some wonderful wisdom to offer. So this is a special Dharma Mudra pin, which is got the it's like a Dharma wheel, so it has the Eightfold Path is represented by this pin. That's all.
Ilby, you took a little trip solo to Chicago. Is there anything stands out or anything you want to share about that?
Ooh, Chicago. I'm really not good at subway systems and public transit. My practice helped in a great way because when I was starting to panic because my phone was on 10% and I was in a city I am not familiar with, I was able to go back to my meditation and my practice and calm myself down like I'm trying to do now for my anxiety, and be able to just problem solve and figure out my way to my friend's house, and being in the moment with things and realizing that it'll all be okay.
Ilby, what sort of new meals have you tried?
Oh, well, at Peace Camp, we have stovetop temple tofu, but at breakfast, we always do oven temple tofu. I learned that cauliflower is actually not that bad when it's oven roasted. Curry is good, but it gets spicier the second time around when you have it as leftovers the next day. And that millet is delicious.
And sometimes you have to go out for ramen noodles.
Yes, I have a stash of instant noodles in my room on the nights when I don't feel like making myself dinner.
Ilby, what ways did you think your practice was going to change, and what ways did you notice they changed?
I was hoping I would get better at meditation, and I would because I attended the Thursday evening meditation class with Maum. So I was able to deepen practice in that way. And then, of course, the Sunday morning interviews with Haju. She made sure I was doing good in my meditation practice. I think something surprised me was I didn't know we did Dharma talks every morning over breakfast. So we have a chanting book called Moon Journeying Through Clouds. And so every morning we read through that. So at 7:30 in the morning, when the coffee has barely kicked in, you're wondering, what is the meaning of life over breakfast? But it has deepened my understanding of all of the things in there, because it's not just my own thoughts on things, it's the thoughts of everyone, which sometimes is like 12 people. I think that's it for right now.
Also, because she would do it so much, 3 times a day or 2 times a day, they just kind of learn the ropes more yourself. Yeah. Yes.
Okay.
What's next? What's next?
What's next? What's next is a road trip back home with my mom and Haju and Illy, all the way back to New York tomorrow at like 12. And no, I have not finished packing.
Yeah, and then she's going to be at home and come back next June, as far as I know. Let's see.
Yes. We also So this temple is part of a larger organization known as Buddhist Society of Compassionate Wisdom. So we have a temple in Chicago, Toronto, New York, and Mexico City. But we also have a farm in New York that is 12 to 20 minutes away, depending on traffic. So while I have been there a few times, I plan on spending a lot more time there between now and when I come back in June.
You said when you were just going to peace camp all those years, you felt like you were a Buddhist for 1 week out of the year. Do you
Yes.
feel like a full-time now?
I do think I'm a full-time Buddhist, yeah. Yeah.
Toby, what were the blessings and the curses you found with the rigid structure of the 3-time-a-day practice?
You got really good at figuring out what routine works for you, and not laying down in bed after breakfast is a very important part of that, because I want to lay down after breakfast, but I can't, because then I won't get up and I have things to do. That is a big part of it, because it is so many times a day. You do have to figure out how to structure your day around it. So 5:30 wake up, 6 a.m. practice, 7:15 breakfast, 11:45 a.m. practice, noon lunch, and then a gap until 6 when we do evening practice. So that, well, not a gap, because from 3 to 5 we have work practice, which if you're in the Dharma worker program is a big chunk of your day. So figuring out when you can go off to do things, when you can study, when you can do loads of laundry. It's been a practice in figuring out timing. The curse is waking up and it's pitch black out until it's like breakfast. You're watching the sunrise at the breakfast table, which is a blessing because you get to watch the sunrise, but also it's so cold and dark. And Mani the temple cat, when I first got here, jump scared the life out of me because she came running out from the door as I was speed walking to practice because I was late in the morning. And then there's just something at my feet and I don't know what it is. Oh, it's Mani. Hi, little Mani. Too late. I have to run to the temple. And I think those are a pretty accurate blessing and a curse.
So that was Ilbe's kind of crucible experience. And I think it did take a lot of courage, because she came with quite a lot of anxiety and I think fear. And she's certainly become very spunky. I think it was always there. Yeah. I would like to just share with you finally for the crucible, thinking, because there's not so much time, thinking that each of us lives in a crucible and we fashion our own crucible. And one of the key ingredients in the crucible in order to grow is courage. And when I reading around or whatever I'm doing, I usually write out things that I find helpful and reread them from time to time. And this is the one on courage. It's from someone by the name Prentice Hemphill. So just prepare yourself for reading this one of crucible and courage, because it's the time in our lives and in the life of the planet that our courage is going to be on the line. We're at lots of brinks. And so here goes. The courage we need is the courage to fail, the courage to reimagine every aspect of our social relations, the courage to relinquish grasping what was and build piece by piece a new structure for how and what we produce. The courage to exit the safety of our dying delusions. The courage to reach for one another. The courage to be honest. The courage to ask questions. The courage to listen. The courage to feel uncomfortable. To me, this is a really big one because I'm not very courageous because I think I'll be uncomfortable. So learning to be uncomfortable. The courage to be part of the circle, to be fed and to feed. The courage to surrender. The courage to know when our time is over and our roles have shifted. The courage to love and be loved. When we are courageous, we can do the unexpected and start to mold the world and a vision bigger than one produced life here. Every inch of progress, every ounce of love, every truly meaningful action from here on out will happen through courage, not comfort. In the midst of this, of course, we need to take care of ourselves, our bodily health and our mental health, because that's what we have the most control over. And when we do take care of those things, then that's what helps in every situation as we, through our practice and through our life, learn interbeing, the whole idea of no self, no others. So what we do for ourselves and how courageous we are is always both for ourselves and others. Amen. And so we have one final thing to do. Please stand. This is next. So if we can come back up here for a second. One of the songs that has been popular in our Sangha, and is sung a lot at Peace Camp, and when people have birthdays, and when they're coming and going from the temple. And so let's sing this song 3 times for Ilby, the No Coming, No Going song. How many know it? Yeah, so we'll start, and then we'll sing it 3 times. Come on, sing with us. You're a musician, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. This is Bobby. He's one of the new guys that come into this temple. Okay, so for Ilby. No coming, no going, no after, no before. I hold you close to me. I release you to be so free. Because I am in you, and you are in me. Because I am in you, and you are in me. No coming, no going, no after, no before. I hold you close to me. I release you to be so free. Because I am in you, and you are in me. Because I am in you, and you are in me. No coming, no going, no after, no before.
because I am in you, and you are in me. Because I am in you, and you are in me.
So, do we have some announcements?
Yeah, I've got announcements. Hello, you can just keep standing. Hopefully you can hear me. So I was looking on the sheet here, trying to find something relevant for this particular time of the year. And it's a little bit of a challenge, but you can also pick up the sheet on your way out and take it with you, because there's some other details coming up in the future that you'd be interested in, I bet. There were a few things I noticed. One, we're having membership meetings today, but they're at 3 o'clock today.
3 o'clock here in this building. If you have not attended a membership meeting, you're welcome to do that. Yeah,
Okay.
and there's one next Sunday at
Yeah.
11:45.
Okay. Okay. And then at 4 here today, there's also a 4 p.m. service. If you ever have trouble getting here to 10, or if you just want to see what's different, you can come here at 4 on the first and third Sundays of every month. We have yoga classes here, 6:30 Tuesday night. That's ongoing. And you might find some other things like meditation class, etc. on here as well. And we do have a sign-up sheet for emails right outside the door, along with the fishbowl for any monetary donations you wish to contribute. And Mom is here. I guess I should give you a shout out. Is there anything you want to tell us? No? Just sneaking in? Well, we do have
We're having a retreat for our Zen Families program starting at noon.
Oh.
I think some of our Zen Families folks will want to visit for that. Yeah. It's
Good.
from noon to 4. As
Okay.
we go forward with our Zen Families program.
Yeah, hi guys.
And Recovery Dharma will meet at noon in the library of the Historic Temple, and either sitting right outside of the bench or sitting in the steps of the Historic Food Hall will be a bid of bagged beans for people free to take home: pinto, black, and hidatsu.
And then I was thinking also what we can do on the way out is leave the mats and cushions that are along the front rows and by the carpet here. And then we'll be moving these mats and cushions to the corners of the rooms. Or actually one corner is up on the stage. And I appreciate your all's help for putting that together.
So that's when we do the house and start.